Lauren Hinkson here at the Peggy Guggenheim Foundation, where a very nice exhibition about Josef Albers in Mexico will be open now. Why Mexico, and which was the importance for Josef Albers, this trip and this influence of this pre-Columbian art?
So Josef Albers and Annie Albers traveled to Mexico 14 times from 1935 to 1965 about. And when they visited, they were particularly interested in the ruins of Mexico. They saw sites like Monte Alban and Mitla and Tenayuca, where Josef was most interested in the abstract forms of the facades and the sculptures that he saw at those sites, and took away from what the pre-Columbian artists were doing with those sculptures, the lines and the geometries, and integrated them into his own work. And so that's what kind of became a touchstone for many of his abstract paintings in the 40s and 50s.
Coming from the Bauhaus, where he studied and then taught, the pre-Columbian art should be something really exploding on his own art. And even the architecture that he saw there was, I think, very impressive. And what can we see on the art that Josef Albers expresses that is much more minimal, the square and everything that we know, coming from this pre-Columbian art?
So I think what's interesting about his time at the Bauhaus is that he took away the idea that you can do the most with the least, which is something that we also see in pre-Columbian art. Very simple lines, squares, triangles, meandering, interlocking forms that Albers internalized, I think, personally, and then replicated in his own work. So it isn't really a completion of his work at the Bauhaus. He doesn't leave that behind in Germany. He brings it with him and then takes what he's learned in Mexico, distilled it into very, very simple color theory and lines and geometries, and created these magnificent works like Tenayuca 1, which is my favorite painting in the show, which is based on a serpent sculpture at the Aztec pyramid in Tenayuca.
Which was the difficulty, last question, in doing this exhibition here?
The difficulty was editing. I worked with my colleagues at the Albers Foundation for a year, looking at all of their photography holdings, and it was hard to decide what to bring because his output of photography from this period was so large, and so many of them have never been seen before. So it was very difficult to decide what would be the kind of first works that the public was seeing from that collection.
Thank you.